came down to two people. A divine pairing. One will live, and one will die.
No viewers yet. No viewers yet. Woo. Hello everybody. Apparently I have Layla's here. Woo! Hey Layla. I don't know what the lag is like. I don't even know if my audio is working properly, so if you can hear me, just give me a shout for me. Cool. I'm just having to multitask here and use an iPad to check on things at the same time. I have 0 viewers apparently. Awesome. I'm just waiting for some feedback that people can see content and can hear me alright, because I don't know how it's going. I should watch it on my iPad really, but you'll hear background noise. But we have viewers apparently, so we might as well get started until someone tells me that you can't hear me. Woo! Yay! No, I'm not listening to myself at all actually. I'm attempting to use a USB microphone. I do have a pair of QC35s, which should do the job, but they were just having a mind of their own. Like having it connected to OBS, it would refuse to keep my music on my phone paused, which is kind of weird. But people here, yay! Echo's not good though. How do I solve echo? Anyone know echo? Turn the gain down a bit. Cool, let's try that. Shouldn't be any echo, but I don't know enough about audio settings, so if anyone's got any feedback, that's awesome. Oh look, we've got like... keep my music on my phone pause, which is kind of weird. But people here, yay! Ooh, let's just mute my iPad. Echo's not good though. How do I solve echo? Anyone know echo? How do I turn... No, not that one. There we go. Right, we will code in a minute. I just wanted to get to a point where we know whether you can hear me or not. So, first things first, how does code look? Let's pick, that'll do. So this was my rather dodgy attempt to start an app yesterday. I'll just spin it up so you can see what it looks like. This was just to test out hot reload. I just turned down the gain on OBS. I'm like, I have to apologise, like a lot of this stuff, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm kind of learning as I go. So I appreciate the feedback. So yeah, stuff like an echo, I can just guess. I mean, I'm lucky that I've got James Montemagno, that is. Like, I'll just, if there's any problems, I'm sure he'll help me because he's a streaming pro. Him or Jeff Fritz, but you guys are here, so that's a good start. So yeah, this is just my spinning disc. That's not good. Okay, so this is just the start of the app that I made. Like, eventually I want this background bit to be an image of space. But the easiest way to add that is using mFractor. And the problem with mFractor at the moment is that it doesn't work because when you start Visual Studio, it gives you an error. I need to reach out to Matthew Robbins to get it fixed, but like at the moment it doesn't work, and I wouldn't. It's only because I read them on Mac and some configuration's wrong, but I wouldn't want to start importing images without mFractor to help because it makes life so much easier. So for now, we've just got a plain blue background. What I wanted to do is kind of find a way to make this look good, but I think it will look better when the background is space to actually play with the opacity. But I just kind of want to play around and see what we can do with it. So one of the things I did is, if we go onto here, if you don't know this page is actually a page I learnt about thanks to David Ortonow's talk at Xamarin Dev Summit. So it's color, spelled the American way, .adobe.com, as you can see here. What it actually does is it lets you build color schemes up and kind of gives you color suggestions. But one of the things I've done previously is upload the image that I want to use as a background in that page and then get it to give me a color scheme. So what I've done in the code is, in the app XAML, it's just got 2 of the colors from the scheme. Station is for smaller. Okay, I can take that tip. That works. I don't need it to be as big as that. And we can do that too. There we go. And we can ditch toolbox. I always forget that there's drag and drop toolbox for XAML now because I'm just so used to having to do that. Cool. So this is just pretty like me just playing around with Xamarin Forms because why not? It seemed a good test stream. One of the other things that I've got as well, which I mentioned on Twitter I might do at some point, is Twilio Quest. So obviously Layla knows this extremely well, but the awesome team at Twilio, now they're known for Twilio Quest, which is kind of their online, their online like learning platform, a kind of sort of 8-bit gamified way of learning like Twilio concepts. They're actually working on a standalone thing called Twilio, like it's just Twilio Quest 3, but it's standalone. And last week I was actually given preview access to this, and it's really cool. So I thought I could kind of work on it at some point, but we'll stick to Xamarin for now. And then if this goes well, I will maybe do one for that. So apologise for the infinite. I just want to see what's going on with the screen. Yeah, why is that truncated? I don't understand. Right, that one might just have to. Is it a problem? Because I don't quite know how to solve the problem, so it might have to run those ones I do off stream unless it really bugs anybody. Streamable area. Yeah, it looks like it, but I don't know how to stop it. Crop. Yeah. So it's a whole window, but I don't know how to fix this bit. Any suggestions? I'm new to this stuff, so I just have to work out as I go along. Crop. Window. The studio? Nope. Is that any better? I'm not sure. You tell me. I'll try it and see how it looks. Yeah, I agree, Jim. Twilio Quest 3 is fab. So I started playing it at work a little bit last week, and I was just completely hooked and I couldn't stop smiling. But then the problem with work is that we've got proxy problems at the moment, and so I suddenly stopped being able to get it to test phone numbers because it just couldn't get through the firewall. So I thought, oh, I could start again from scratch, but we can maybe do it on stream so we can all do it together. Look for a red box, okay? No, oh wait, no. Yeah, see, we just need to, how do we, no. We'll work this out. Is that red line just infinite? How do we, ha, yeah. See, we're on this together. This is why James needs to show up. He's probably in a meeting because it's James, but James will tell me how to fix this. Let's see. It must be to do with the is it to do with the output and the video size? Because my base canvas and the resolution aren't the same. Obviously, I can't do much at the moment because I'm streaming, but I'm wondering whether it's just to do with those two resolutions not being the same. Make sure your browser windows fix the red box. Okay, can do that. cancel that. Where's my browser window? Let's bring it to the back. There we go. So, ooh, that doesn't feel good. So that's Chrome. I don't know how to fix that though. So make sure it fits inside the red box, but there's lots of boxes. Well, I think it's one box, but one of them is a display, but it's a bit confusing because they all look the same. Nope. Not sure what different resolution. Okay, right. Is it a massive problem in terms of the size of the window? Because obviously we've tested that code looks alright, so that's a good start. And obviously most of the time will be spent on a Visual Studio window. So if the truncating is not too bad on a Visual Studio window, I can always just kind of add that as a list of things to look at between streams. Yes, streamception, exactly, yeah. So, yeah, just let me know how bad the truncating is on Visual Studio, because that's where I spend most of my time. If it's really bad and it is actually a problem, I'll stop stream, because we know that the code's alright, and then just have a look into it, but... Yeah, so I've got that. It's just... But it's kind of... You've got these windows, because of streamception, it gets confusing. Because you've got the crosshairs, and then you've got the window itself in the red box. It's fine. Okay, that's good. Thank you. Okay, I'll battle with that off stream. You guys don't need to sit and watch me argue with OBS all evening. I'll just add that to the list afterwards. So as long as you can see the code, that's all right. So as you can see, I've got fly out gradient start and fly out gradient end. That is just the start of my attempts to do a gradient background in Shell. So those of you that don't know, Shell is this new opinionated navigation framework that came out with Xamarin Forms 4.0. And it basically is I haven't actually written one yet, but it's just this idea that you can just say to it, hey, I want, a fly out menu. All right, let's do tabs. I'll just do fly out menu because that's what I wanted to do. But we'll start with tabs. I keep changing my mind. We'll start with tabs because that's easier for me to remember how to do it. So you've got a tab, you give it a title. You could say, I don't know, page 1. And then that is the content, is it? It's data template? I can't remember now. Tab, title. How am I forgetting how to do this? I write these quite a lot now, and now suddenly all of a sudden now I'm on stream forgotten how you do it. It's cheat. App shell. There we go. So this Zappy is David Ortonell's kind of Xamarin Forms 4.0 sample. So he had a kind of playground for 3.x. This is his 4.x playground. So Zappy does quite a lot of cool things, and the code I find can be a bit overwhelming. Like certainly for me, I want to try and work out how to do the gradient background in the fly out item, because stuff like Skier Sharp and Pancake View don't work with the way the shell works. But first of all, I just show you how this stuff's done. Ah, that's it. You do a shell content. See? Forgetting already. Thanks, Denny. So shell content. So this one's a bit of a funny one. You want to do a data template. Is it like that? I can't remember how you do it. Ah, that's it. Shell content. Forgetting how to code all of a sudden. Content template is data. Oh no, it is in quotes. So I'll explain in a minute why I'm doing this. So basically, if you just set it and say literally inside the tab, instead of having the content template, if you have just the page, it will load the page at startup, which will just add to the time it takes for the app to start. Whereas if you put it in a data template, content template like this, it'll actually only load it when the page is like tabbed to, for example, so it just improves performance. Yeah, so good question, Jim. So for those that can't see the question, if this is a YouTube recording, Jim's asked, as a complete Xamarin noob, does shell have much significance as opposed to using other container nodes? I don't recall the VS templates using a shell. So no, they don't normally. Shell is a new opinionated navigation framework. So it's just, if you want to do stuff like tab pages, so you've got your tabs along the bottom to move between the different pages, or you want what's known as a master detail page. So that's where you've got the menu that might stay stuck out, or you can pull it out, click it, and it'll load a page. A lot of that, especially master detail page, involves a lot of configuration, and I think you need 3 separate XAML files just to achieve it. So what Shell does, it just simplifies all that and does all the navigation for you out of the box. So it's just a nice, easy way to do a bit of navigation if you've got multiple pages. At the moment, I don't. I've just got the one page, but I want to do the flyout menu with the gradient background as per... I'll show you. If we go to... there might be pictures on here. I'll show you shortly, but basically, David Orton has got the sample and he uses shell all over it, which is what this Zappy is. But one of the things he does that's quite cool is a gradient background, but it just can't be done in some of the normal ways of doing a gradient background. So I just wanted to use this as a sample to achieve it. But let's just see if in the README there's any images. Probably not. If we just start typing it in. So this is, I just want to find it, there's a picture of it in the video from Dave's talk at, oh wow, my internet's dying, yeah. There we go. So this is a talk from Xamarin Dev Summit that happened a few weeks ago in Houston. And in it, Dave actually shows the page that I'm referring to that I want to try and replicate. I said it's just playing around, but if I just... Oh, there we go. You can just see it here. Hang on, let me just make sure that it's in view. Mute it. Wait for it to load. Because my internet's terrible, so me streaming is already causing problems. But yeah, basically I want to make a gradient flyout, so I just want to put a flyout menu in it. So here we've got, I don't know, the page, so that would create tabs on the bottom, but what we actually want is a flyout menu, sorry, that's what it's called in Shell. So that's kind of the same as your master page that you might see. So if you've ever written iOS apps, you've got you've got the menu and you click it and then something else happens along the side. Yeah, a bit like menus where you tap the menu from a pull-out panel, as it were, click the button and it takes you to that page. That's what this is, but just done more simply with all the navigation kind of work done for you under the hood. So we want a flyout. Is a flyout real? Yeah, no, it's not a flyout, so it's cool. So we've got it wrapped in a shell. So the first thing to remember is when you create a new XAML page like here, it's wrapped in a content page, and if you go to the code behind, you've got you've got the main page and the content page. So to anyone that's new to Xamarin development, when you use XAML, the Xamarin Form XAML dialect to construct your UIs, hang on. So yeah, in answer to your question, Gerald, it's just tech problems. I don't know how to solve the screen red boxes thing on OBS, and it was taking me too long to work out. So since code is visible, we're just leaving it as that, so I can bug James afterwards and get him to help me solve it. Yay! I can stream. So like going forward, like streams will follow a proper plan where I've got an app I want to create or something I want to work on, like say, I don't know, 3 levels of Twilio Quest. So it'll be much more structured. Today is just me playing about to check that you guys can read the code. But yeah, so normally you get the XAML page where you declare the UI, and then you have the partial class behind it, which does kind of lots of automatic stuff for you, like initializing all the components. But as you can see, normally it extends your content page, and it's important to make sure that the XAML and the code behind are both the same type of page. So obviously, when you first create a page, it'll be a content page. You can just change it to shell, and that will declare it as a shell page for you. So now we've just got the flyout item. So we want to say content. I can't remember how to do it now. I shouldn't be trying to do shell stuff on stream when I haven't done it for like 2 weeks. It's a test. No one's going to judge me. Sure, it's not shell. I don't do flyout items very often. I normally do tabs. So we're just going to cheat. It's not even cheating. This is what's great about open source software, is that if you can't remember how to do something, you just join the stream. If anyone wondering why I keep looking to the side, by the way, it's because I've got an iPad down here where I've got the chat open, so that it's not like Inception on the screen. I've just got a separate screen to keep an eye on things. So if we go into Zappy here and just have a look, we should find some good examples. So obviously Dave's implemented, not XAML, we want XAML, no, that one. There we go. We want app shell. Just wait for that to load. That'll just give us some good examples to bait things off. Well, it's all part of vanilla Xamarin Forms. So all this stuff, the shell, the flyout menu, and the tabs and stuff, is all part of Xamarin Forms 4.0. So you don't need any new get packages. You don't need, adding any extensions to Visual Studio or anything. It is just out of the box. It's just a feature that they implemented in Xamarin Forms 4 because they kind of listened to feedback and gone, yeah, do you know what, this could be easier, and they've gone about it. See, Joe's beat me to it. So apart from hot reload, which I'll show you shortly, and mfractal, which isn't working today, everything else I'm using is out of the box Xamarin stuff. If it isn't, I'll say so. So all the stuff's free. Obviously, I've got Visual Studio Enterprise Edition, but none of the stuff that I'm doing is special to Enterprise. It's all available in Visual Studio Community. So just knock yourself out. Let's have a look. See, I get Microsoft employees coming to my talks. Not talks, streams, even. Although Microsoft people do come to my talks too. Although one of my favourite Microsoft people is literally in the process of moving from England to America, which makes me sad, but I'm pleased for him at the same time. So let's just go back to cheating and have a look. So that's it in the flyout item. That's it. Okay, so we want a flyout. That's an item. Oh, then you add tabs. See, this is the only problem, right? Is that I love all these examples that they put together for for us to kind of base things off, but it soon kind of grows into a bit of an ugly monstrosity. So don't get me wrong, I love that Dave's got this app, but for example, you don't actually need to put tabs inside a flyout item. If you just want a plain menu, you don't do it like that. So it's already more complicated than it needs to, well, not needs to be, it's complicated because it's doing a lot. But for me as a hobbyist, I'm already finding it confusing, so I'm just going to go and see if I've actually written anything that might be of help to us. Because, yeah, already I know from experience that flyout and tabs are separate, but if you put tabs inside of a flyout menu, what it does is it gives you both. I think it's to do with when's one visible and when not. I can't remember, but yeah, some of this stuff is doing clever bits, and I just want a really simple bog standard flyout item. So, let's see if I can find the code. Yeah, has anyone else seen it? Oh, is it because I need to sign in? Has anyone else seen a thing with GitHub lately where it seems to be that when you view some of your repositories, the code isn't there, it just tells you the commit history? Right, it's kind of annoying. Oh, see? Device has got to do two-factor auth now. That's okay. Security for the win. So yeah, just going back to what I was talking about before, one of the things that I've done I wanted to add into that file is... Am I logged in? Possibly not. Oh, enjoy your dinner, Layla. Oh. So, in answer to your question, Jim, which was how long have I been involved with Xamarin, I first discovered it technically in October 2014 when I was working on a project to investigate some cross-platform mobile solutions for a company, but I wasn't the one that investigated Xamarin. So although it won overall, I didn't really spend that much time on it because it was my first project on my grad scheme at my employer, and I got moved on to something else after that. But I think it was late 2015, early 2016 that I discovered it. And I kind of took it more seriously because I started to actually use it more in some work I was doing. And my boss basically said to me at the time, if you can get Xamarin certified back when Xamarin University existed, if I could get the official certification before anybody else, he'd get me a ticket to go to Evolve in 2016, which was Xamarin's old awesome conference that they used to have. I think it was every year or every other year back before the acquisition. But yeah, I got to go to that, so I started taking Xamarin University classes and just fell in love with it. So kind of ever since then. How long? So yeah, like 2.5 years, I guess. But the thing to remember is that, I mean, yeah, 2.5 years I've known Xamarin, but I think I still feel at a disadvantage because I'm a hobbyist. So there's only, between the public speaking I do, the blog writing, actually having a life and taking a break, my day job and all the other stuff, I don't get to kind of make apps as much as I'd like to kind of improve my skills and learn lessons. So I think at the moment my kind of section of what I know is quite narrow. Like I can start an app quite quickly and I can point you to docs for various different things, but I've never actually made a proper app, which is kind of why I started to stream, because like I feel like I don't know an awful lot. I know more than your average person, I guess, from years of public speaking, but again, it's always tends to be the same talks. I think I've got 3 or 4 talks that I've got in my repertoire, but I'm pretty sure that my intro talk is the only one that's ever really asked for. So I'm always going over the same stuff and answering very similar questions. So yeah, one of the reasons I wanted to start streaming was just so that I can actually finish an app, get some free rubber ducking in, make some friends, and if nothing else, just share my experiences with people, because as I said, it's all well and good having these amazing samples that are put together, but sometimes, like with the working out how the gradient stuff happens, because it's got dynamic theming and stuff, this app's quite complicated. So I still feel quite junior as a developer sometimes, and so I wanted to start a stream just so you can see what it's like, and hopefully just go at a slower pace, because I don't have decades of experience. I don't work for the Xamarin team at Microsoft. I didn't work for Xamarin pre-acquisition. I'm just a developer who loves it. So we just, thought you guys might like to come along for the ride while I learn some stuff. So where were we? So I was trying to see if I've got any code. See what I mean? I don't understand. There's 8 commits, but where's the code? What is going on with GitHub? I just wanted a simple shell. Do you know what? I'm missing a trick here. Let's just go on docs. Akka.ms/xamdocs will take you to the Xamarin documentation, I think. See what's happening. There we go. Slowly but surely. J.A. Ben. I don't know who that is. It's not Jim. Someone, basically, when they create akka.ms links, people at Microsoft associate like some kind of tag with it so that it goes under their stats, because Microsoft like to measure like conversion rate and like the amount of people that click things. So a lot of the time, for example, if you read James's blogs on montemagno.com, when you actually look at the akka.ms links or the links that send, there's always a JAMONT, which is his Microsoft username, built into it just for their kind of analytics. But yeah, so I just happen to know that shorthand list. So Xamarin Forms. Let's find shell, and let's... I don't know what it'll be under, actually. XAML, maybe? Or is it the same thing? Nope. We'll find it. It'll either be under User Interface, Application Fundamentals, or XAML, I think. But hopefully we'll find some simple shell docs, because all I want to do is create a flyout tab. Number controls. No, it's not that one. So let's just search. Xamarin Forms shell documentation. My pleasure. Yeah, some of it will be imposter syndrome, but like genuinely, as someone, I don't know whether it's the learning difficulties, the imposter syndrome, the lack of experience, or what, but yeah, I just often find some of these examples to be a bit intimidating. So the plan is to just keep this small and simple, just to show you guys some of the stuff that can be done. There we go. Flyout, that's what we want. Yeah, as it says, it reduces the complexity of mobile application development, which is true. Oh yeah, so one of the things you might have seen at the start of this file here, and I couldn't remember what it did, was flyout icon. So now we know that according to the docs from here, it changes that hamburger icon, but I'm happy with the hamburger icon, so that's not a problem. I'm not worried about the flyout behavior, which controls whether it stays out permanently, the flyout's never there, whether it can be opened. So open and closed by the user, so that's fine, that's what we want. I don't need to do anything with the behavior. I don't need a header. I guess we could put a header in, but it seems excessive. You have to declare a separate control and stuff, so the idea is that you can almost consider it like a widget almost. You create the layout somewhere else, so it would be, maybe a stack layout or something, so that's just the idea, the components are stacked one upon the other. So you literally have a separate, you'd create a whole page for the flyout header and then give it the kind of you declare the page, you build the page up, and then in your header, like you see here, you just reference it as a control inside the header. So as you can see here, you've got this image that fills the background of Xamarin Store with the word animals and some in the middle. So that results in this. But so by setting that control inside the shell flyout header, it means that when you have your flyout menu, at the top of the flyout menu will be that image. But that's more than we need. I just want a simple list. So here we go, flyout items. This is what we want. So we don't need a header. We just want. Oh, it does use tabs. Okay. Someone said to me that you don't need it. Oh, don't tell me stream frozen. Brr. It's dropping quite a few frames. Let's see. What's going on? Is it still frozen? Let's hope not. Stop freezing. Come on. Shouldn't have stopped. It's still recording. Is it still frozen? Obviously, I don't want to watch my stream at the same time because that means that it's using up bandwidth that could be used for streaming, but there's no reason to think it's not streaming. So we'll see how we go. So now I know that the code is visible and stuff, the plan is to actually start right back at the beginning. I'll even talk people through what Xamarin is using one of my talk slides. Oh yeah, cool. Sweet. Yeah, so eventually the plan is to actually start right back at the beginning, going through what an intro to what Xamarin is and how to get started. But as I said, this is just a test stream, so I'm just fiddling. I'm just bringing you guys along for the ride while I play with something I was going to play with anyway. That's a shame, Denny. Let me just put sad face because that makes me sad. Okay, so we've got flat items. So then it says to do a tab. Okay, title. I don't know. Home. We've only got one page at the moment, so we're just going to do menu item. So it's a tab, then a shell content. Of course it is. I should know this. This is what happens on stream. They always say to me that you lose your touch a bit when people are watching, and I think it's kind of true. I'm not saying I was like an art expert at this beforehand, but I certainly remembered how to stick a page together. Yes, so this is the bit where content control template. I can't even spell autocorrector. Sorry, Danny. See if it will let me. There we go. Sorry, Danny. I didn't even notice it autocorrected your name. So let's just have a quick look here. So we've got tab, shell, content, and views. So we want it to be the data template. So it's tab, shell, content, okay, so you just do it in there. So it should be. So we want the shell content, and then we want to say that the content template is a data template, which is, so if we go to here, so all of these are what they call XML namespaces. So I think it's extensible markup language namespace. So where you have this stuff in lots of different places, for example, you can add an extra namespace. So if you've got stuff like you would do in a more complicated app, structured into maybe the MVVM architecture, which is model view model, you might have stuff like a views folder and a renderers, I don't know, custom controls folder or something, or renderers. So if you wanted to reference them in your XAML, you just add an additional namespace to them. Now, in our case, this is all in the same file place. So actually this, I know we need to declare another namespace. So there's kind of a tradition that you often find that the main application root is referred to as local. So it follows a really odd pattern, which is, I can't remember what it is now. So we've got one in here as a good example. Oh, that's it, yeah, CLR-namespace, that's what we want. And then is it just, yeah, and then it's life, there we go, yep. So now in here, what we can say is we can refer to local, what I'm trying to do is just recreate it so that it's like that. So it's, if I save it first, local, oh, bit odd in IntelliSensei, local main page, should do it. Alright, we want to do a self-closing, there we go, self-closing tag, cool. So we've got this generated, I think that's going to work, but we'll see. So it's going to be the first page it loads, so we're just going to keep it really simple, and rather than trying to make it too fancy, we'll just do shell content like that, and then it was local. There we go. So if we do that, what that should do is generate a flyout menu, maybe. just do material visual. So visual is just this new concept that again comes in Xamarin Forms 4, where you can make the look and feel of your application the same across platforms. So at the moment it's only Google's material design guidelines for Android, so it does mean that you get Android in your iOS project, which I know, Jim Bennett, if you're watching, I know what you think. I will turn it off. I'm just seeing how we go. I don't know how many viewers, how many people are watching at the moment. Is anyone still watching? I hope so. I'm not going to do this for much longer because, you know, this was just a test stream and I actually want to kind of do something more structured going forward, where I'll actually put together a proper document that shows what we're going to work through, what we're going to explain. We can tick off things as we cover it. You know, I'm hoping to have all the videos uploaded to YouTube so that you can actually, for each tick box, we can put a timestamp in so you can jump to the timestamp. Like, I really genuinely want this to be educational. So we'll see how we go. Obligatory whirling of a pencil. So, what's it doing? I'm just going to kill the simulator and start again because it's not playing ball. That's fine. So if we start this again, so I always use an iPhone 8 simulator. You get loads of the ones out of the boxes, but if you use an iPhone 10s or 10R or 10 emulator, it gets the notch. Now, it's easy to fix the notch with one line of code in the code behind for the different content pages, but I always forget. So I always forget what the line of code is, so I'm just leaving it as is for now. So shell.flyout behavior. Just go back to that. I want to leave it locked permanently out for now so that we can use it as a reference to watch as it changes. So how do we do? After saying it didn't matter about behavior, I now take it back. So I was wondering why I just did that. There's a fly in the room. So fly out behavior. Oh, okay, so it's just shell fly out behavior equals, we want locked. It's just a property up here. Okay. Fly out behavior equals locked. So that should work. But Gerald, if you're watching, I'm sure you're going to look at this and tell me I've done something wrong. But again, I've spun up a couple of apps using like tab pages, but this is the first time I've done like flyout and stuff, and it's been a while since I've done shell, so I forget stuff all the time. So yeah, if anyone knows why the flyout's not appearing, feel free to let me know because this is annoying. Or is it? No. Let's just add let's add an extra page. That you can get, it's called my page. Just gonna give it some content. Make it nice and big. Stick it in the middle. So this just basically making the text nice and big and sticking it in the middle. Close off the tag. Cool. So if we go back into our app shell, you can see that the first one is the main page, and then actually add multiple. I always get this wrong. So yes, you have one big flyout item and then multiple tabs inside of it. Okay, that's what I thought, but double check. That's loading. So not OBS, so just TG, that's the one. So we've got one tab with our main page. If you need that, I can just do that. Or not. So we're going to do another tab. title, page 2, the shell content, local, my page. So in theory, that should. Oh, do you know what I'm doing? Yeah. So if you ever, Denny will know this because Denny was in my talk. I said during the talk, there's something that you do a lot, and it's always easy to forget, and that is to tell the app to load your app shell and not your main page. So in the app SAML, again, this has got a partial code behind. You tell it what page to start, and it's always loading the main page and not app shell. Now it will load the flyout menu. I think we probably need to stop and restart the app for that. I think that might be a step too far for hot reload. Yeah, so if anyone's interested, what I'm actually using is hot reload. So you might have heard about this because it is quite a big deal. So in the past, whenever you wanted to check a change in the UI that you'd made, even if it was just something as minor as changing the text color, you had to stop and restart it, which isn't too bad on iOS because it's quite a fast development cycle. But on Android, because of all the stuff going on behind the scenes, it is improving with work that's going on by both Google and Microsoft, but Android takes ages to build. So it's like it's just a bit of a long loop when you want to build something. So hot reload solves that. It just means that if you make a change, at the moment it's only XAML, but if you make a change in the XAML that's not, it's not adding a NuGet package or anything like that, if you just make a change in the XAML for a page, as soon as you save the document, it will just make the changes, which is awesome. So I'll show you an example now. So we've got the app finally running, right? We've got our 2 pages, woo! We've got our flyout menu, which doesn't have anything on it. Okay. Oh, it's because I need to give them titles, isn't it? Oh no, I did give them. Oh, I gave the tab titles. Okay, that's confusing. So if we give it a title of, I don't know. So I called the app Life Organizer. So one of the things that really annoys me about the clock and the alarm system out of the box in iOS is that you can't just say set an alarm for 9 a.m. on Monday. You set an alarm for 9 a.m. and if it's Saturday, it will go off on Sunday. So I'm starting to put together an app that kind of brings together a few things I like. So future alarms, like I'm used to on Android, because I'm only a recent convert to iOS, and also like a to-do list schedule. I mean, I've got to do, and my good friend Kim Philpotts, who I curate Xamarin Weekly with, he I can't remember what I was saying now. Oh, this is what happens when you go do a day at work and then start streaming. What was I saying? Parts. Oh yes. He got me into this program called Notion. I've only started to use it a little bit, but it just seems to be really good for bringing together like a to-do list. You can drag in images, links to websites. It's just like an all-in-one life organizer / note-taking app. But, it's just fun. Sometimes it's just fun to make an app. It's not even that one doesn't exist that does what you want already. It's just the experience of writing it yourself. So eventually this app will get built up into this Life Organizer app. So we'll just give it a title. And if we save that, we'll update. Let's see. I'm not sure how well it handles. Yeah, there you go. Boom. Got a title. Woo. That's cool. Okay, and if we... So we've got rid of the title, but we can do other things to show you how quick hot reload is now. So, for example, in the main page, we've got the background as cornflower blue, so we can make it chartreuse, I think it is. People always pick in my talks because it comes up as one of the first. If we save that now, boom, just like that. I mean, all right, no one wants a bright green background. I make it cornflower blue because it's close to Xamarin colours. But actually, this is a good excuse. We talked about these colours and my colour set. So this is the colour scheme as recommended to me from the that's the space image I told you about. So if I'll show you actually. You can have a look at all my files on my desktop. There we go. So this is the image I want to use eventually. So what I did was I popped this image into this color.adobe.com, and this was kind of the color scheme that it came back with based on colors in that image. So that's quite clever. So I'm going to try using this one for the background. So rather than putting a color in, let's put a hex value. That should do it. And if we go over to here, that work? There we go. Woo! Obviously that's only temporary because eventually the background will be the space image. But if we can actually do it for the whole content page. So background color is that. Okay, that didn't do an awful lot. Oh, it did it in the background, but you still got the bars. Does anyone know how you customize the bars? I don't know how many new people are in here and how many experienced Xamarin developers are watching, but how would you make... Oh, it's part of Shell, isn't it? Of course it is. So we do background colour. Is that? Should. There we go. That's very interesting. They're supposed to be exactly the same colour because I pasted the value, yet they look different. Huh, who knew? But there you go. That's kind of like a... So, to kind of talk through how I went from that to, oh, it needs to be there, doesn't it? I was looking at it and thinking, okay, these bits here and here, what are they? They're not a navigation bar per se, because I'm using Shell and not a navigation page. So that's what made me think, oh, okay, we need to do it to the Shell, don't we? So that's how I went to kind of from not sure to there. So we can go back into this main page now. We can take out this bit on this. Oh no, yeah, that's fine. So now we've got this page like that. So eventually we'll have the space image here, and then we'll have these bits here. But now obviously the text isn't right. So if we go into the app shell, I think if we do this shell.flyout icon, if we just do, can we just do like the icon color? Can we do font color? Okay, that one might be a step too far, but yeah, at some point I want to learn how you do changing of the text color along here. So here we might be able to do it as part of the tabs. Where's it, font color? Style. I want to apply styles here, but that's not what I want to do. Hover. See what it tells us. Not a lot. I do miss Visual Studio for Windows occasionally. I love my Mac, but sometimes Visual Studio for Mac without Mfractor working is just a bit painful. So we'll leave that as is for now. I'm aware that it doesn't look right, but we'll fix it later once I know how. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're nearly at an hour. So, right, I might as well kind of bring the stream to a close because it was just a quick test to see if the code held up. So, can one of my lovely viewers just let me know if the code was still readable to you? Obviously, I need to fix the weird screen jargon where it's cut a side off. But on the whole, is the code readable and like the audio and everything up to scratch? Because there's no point streaming if you're not able to look at the code and see what's happening, or hear me for that matter. Just see. Anybody? Have a look what's happening. We've got 2 viewers, so anyone? Anybody? Cool, thanks Danny. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this test to a close because we've done the test. If you've got any requests on what you want me to work on, like whether you want me to do a Xamarin Forms app, or whether you want me to play through Twilio Quest from the start, I'm happy to do it. Just let me know. You guys almost get first dibs because you turned up. Thank you very much for that. But yeah, just kind of, if you want tweak suggestions, and we can kind of, other people be able to see it and interact with it, because obviously the stream is nothing without you as users and watchers and audience, whatever you like to identify as, developers, lovely human beings. We're nothing without you. So just let me know kind of what stuff you want me to focus on, whether it is building a Xamarin app from start to finish, attempting to build a Xamarin app from start to finish, complete with an introduction to Xamarin, or Twilio Quest, or any other ideas. Just let me know. But with that, we will end the stream. And I really appreciate you guys showing up. Like, it's very valuable for me as a developer and a wannabe streamer. Because I tune into James most of the time he goes live. I try and get into Dave Ortonell's streams, Maddie Leger streams sometimes, Clancy streams, Jeff Fritz streams. Loads of great and really nice people in the community and at Microsoft who already stream. And I'm not a blue badge holder, I'm just a hobbyist. But there's just so many great streams out there, and I just kind of want to be part of that community, because for me as an audience, I love these streams and I love how knowledgeable they all are, but they make it look so easy. And Clancy said to me the other day that he still has breakdowns over forms, how to do form stuff on stream, and has to look it up. And he wrote forms. But even so, I've watched him stream. He still sounds capable. I watched him the other day. How long have you been streaming for? Like 11, 12 hours when I joined, because it was part of Microsoft's 1 week hack, or whatever they call it. So I guess imposter syndrome gets us all. But yeah, certainly for me, I watch streams and almost it sets off my imposter syndrome, because they just make it look so easy. So this stream really is just coding with Luce. We will just do it together. I will feel like an imposter, make mistakes, laugh at myself, get annoyed, get confused, ask for your help. But it is absolutely a we. It's coding with me. It's not watching me code. It's not watch Luce code or anything like that. It's coding with Luce. So it's absolutely going to be a joint effort. Yeah, thanks, Andreas. Yeah, I am wondering whether I need to stop bothering with the webcam. I wanted to include a camera because it feels more inclusive, and you guys can watch me and it's nice to do gestures. But if it does carry on being a problem that the camera can't keep up, I might disable it just so that we can focus on the content. But yeah, thanks for joining, everybody, and I look forward to us going on some adventures together now that we know it works.